In connection with Father's Day weekend in the race at Michigan International Speedway, we had a group of NASCAR drivers come into the Henry Ford to take a look at our own collection of historic race cars. They always have a real sense of history in the sport, and when they come and see the cars, see where the past drivers came from, it's always kind of shocking to them. Of course, now they have all kinds of safety equipment, they have helmets, they have harnesses and so on, and they're about as safe as can possibly be in those cars. Whereas 40, even 30 years ago, I mean, they were really racing something closer to stock cars. The protection wasn't there that they have today. They didn't have a lot of recourse in the event of an accident. So I think that's always sobering and a little humbling to the drivers of today. Also, I think they just love to see where the sport came from, because if it wasn't for the work of the drivers 40, 50 years ago, the sport wouldn't be where it was today, enjoying the popularity that it does today. So I think they do feel a real sense of gratitude to the drivers who came before. It's important to have legends like Richard Petty come and see our collection, because just his presence being here gives some credibility, some credence to our own collection. To have him look through these cars and say, I remember watching these cars when I was a kid, or I remember racing against some of these cars in some cases. It really reminds us of how significant these vehicles are and how we've done a good job of assembling a collection of cars that really reflect the most important aspects of motorsport in America. Well, it's always fun to talk to these young drivers because, for one, they're real professionals. I mean, these guys are out there driving at top speeds, close to 200 miles an hour, and they have a real sense of danger because of that, but also a real appreciation for the history of the sport. So it's fun to see what they're interested in. I'm also always fascinated because you might think these guys are mostly interested in the cars, and it's true, they do love to look at the race cars, but it's also interesting because they always have other things in the museum that grab their attention. Some of the drivers wanted to go off and see the Lincoln chair, the chair in which Lincoln was assassinated. That meant a lot to them. Richard Petty was really interested in our airplane collection. I mean, he absolutely loved the tri-motor, wanted to get a good close look at that. So, even though we tend to think of them as being most interested in the cars, there are all sorts of things that are in the museum's collection that they love to see, and they're always surprised too. They tend to think of us as a car museum, and then when they come in here and see that we have things like the Lincoln chair or the car in which Kennedy was assassinated, it's a surprise to them, and I always enjoy seeing their reactions to those objects.